Hey guys, so I wanted to talk today about the fact that I'm nearing the end of the cut, or at least this phase of it. I do have to do a reverse diet. I don't have to, it's more so just so that I can lose a little bit more, and in a way that's easier. That's why I'm doing it. I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible. But I want to talk about my shallow experience. I've talked a lot about the Lana era versus the Kesha era, which I would consider it to be the difference between scuba diving and snorkeling. And I will say, at the end of the day, when you're in vanity weight, when you're doing that vanity weight era, there is no way to make it actually easy. There's a easier and there's more difficult. That's basically what you're deciding upon. So it's kind of like the Kesha era is still challenging. It's still a little bit tough physically, but it's not, for me, it's not so much like that it's so physically taxing. It's just you don't have as much energy, and trying to keep everything spinning, or trying to keep all of trying to keep everything moving and keep everything stable, like keep all the plates spinning while you're still doing a downsizing journey. That's difficult, and that is tiring. Like if I was doing what I was doing in my life in the autumn today, this would be pretty easy. But I have a lot going on. There's a lot on my mind. There's a lot of things that I have to do because I'm trying to really move forward in life this year. I can't just do like a moment where I sit down and just don't do anything like last year. So that part of it is difficult. Now, I want to say that I can tell that I've made some progress at this point. I'm not going to weigh in though, I told you guys, so I'm just going to keep going. Gosh. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, of course they're taking out trash or whatever the fuck as soon as I'm doing this. Anyways, I am, for the most part, doing okay. But it is still tough, and being at the bottom. So this is my lowest cals that I'm going to be at. It's still below. I have to be so edgy with YouTube. It's still below my personal irritation limit, which is, let's talk about a series of random numbers, 2300. Okay. So for me, when it's beneath that, it's still really irritating and taxing mentally. It's not that bad though. I'm like just barely under that, but I'm still on edge a little bit. So, and then there's certain things too, like I'm starting to falter a little bit with certain things, like my hair, for example. Like it's like I try to care about it, but I don't give a fuck. And I do get kind of fixated on certain things, like, because there's still an element of that deep thinking, and it's still pushing me to be more introverted, basically, is what I could say. So, especially at this point, it's 8 weeks down the line. This is my 8th week, and I just have to say, I've definitely done this in the way that is the most irritating, but the most possible. Like, it is possible, but it's literally like I've made it almost the most difficult it could possibly be. But I'm basically taking it to the edge of like, what is possible, what is doable, what is livable, basically. Because I really didn't want to do this at this time. And I think that that's why this one in particular was such a tough sell. Like starting in mid-February, it was so awful. It was not at all what I wanted to do. I am proud of myself for doing it though. I'm proud of myself for reaching the conclusion, basically. I have one more week, but I know I'm going to make it. So I'm not like worried about it. But it's kind of like I'm just wanting that relief really bad at this time. Like my skin is getting really, really dry and things like that. There's just still some physical toll. And I think that a lot of people, they don't acknowledge that and they just push through. And I think especially for me, because I was doing downsizing for so many years prior and I really didn't get much of a break. So it's still like annoying. But as far as the vanity journey and how I look and all these things, I'm pleased. I'm pretty pleased. I want to see where I'm at because I'm a bit swollen, I think, and just like probably a little bit of a touch of the hypo going on because I do these hard workouts and I'm in a death and, you know, all this stuff. So it's like, oh, this is still kind of swelly. But I've noticed like I have better tolerance for certain foods. Like I don't have to eat super pro-thyroid all the time, even in a death, which is great because like I was able to have In-N-Out, for example, for my Easter thing and then for my mom's birthday. So it's like I didn't feel like I missed out on anything like Easter wise at all. So there is like a path with this. I did have to double up on one of the days though in order to stay within goals, but it was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal, and then I just took an extra day of rest basically, so that's where I'm at today. But that's the thing about this is you can be like flexible with it, so you can make it work when you are in a Kesha era. That's the whole point. So I don't feel like I missed out on a holiday at all, which that was a huge relief emotionally. But I still am like a little bit woozy if I stand up fast, you know. There's just still like fasting symptoms with this still. And my sleep is not the best. Like I get up really early and I can't sleep longer than like 5.5 hours or something like that most nights. So the only time I was is when I did full body gym. Then the next day I could sleep longer. But it's discipline. That's all I can say. Like it does take discipline. Like I'm never going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I'm not going to say it's easy breezy, beautiful. Like it's not. So yeah, and I think at this point it is getting hard to balance everything still. Like it's starting to wear on where I'm like, ooh. But I kind of knew that would happen in April because this is the bottom, you know? But I feel good for the most part. There's a lot of times where I feel really happy or I feel kind of at peace or just still relieved. Like I'm still so relieved at how much easier it is. Even if it's not easy, it's so much easier than it used to be. And I'm just very thankful for my efforts last year. I'm very thankful for the Lana era. Like I think about that all the time. So like I understand going deep if that's something that you want to do or that you know, it's just something you want to pursue. I don't regret it at all. I'm very grateful I did it because now this year I don't have to do that ever again. You know, like I can do these cycles if I want to. I can do just about 10, for me it's about 10 lbs each cycle. And so after I do my second one this year, if I want to continue next year, I can, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I really don't. I think like after a certain point, it's really just body comp and it's kind of like just having to focus on building muscle and, you know, basically shifting around what your weight is rather than having to actually downsize. So I do feel like this year is probably the end of my downsizing journey because with all of my caloric estimates, it should have me weighing around 175. when all is said and done, even if it takes a long time, like even if some of it is just maintaining at that level and then you're just like barely losing, if it doesn't all come off immediately, it's still like, that is a fine weight for me to rest at forever, basically. Like, that's fine. And then it's just like body comp and stuff probably next year, so it's just different. And probably being able to hit the gym harder and that kind of stuff. I still can hit the gym, but at this time I can't go that deep with the gym, or I can't like really get stronger. So I'm not really in that anymore. I have to wait probably a couple weeks before I can start getting stronger again, because the cut is cutting, you know. So it's reached that point where I can't quite do it. I can do it a little bit. Like, I was able to go up in my biceps and triceps, but yeah, other than that, I tried on a medium sweater for the winter for this year. It was not that bad. Like, I wouldn't say it fits, but it's like, oh my gosh, I probably will be a medium by the end of the year, which is wild. This sweater is a large and it's kind of baggy now. I feel like this sweater, it's not only like a farewell to the cold weather, because I think it's going to start getting hot here, but it's also like I wore this symbolically on the last day of the depths of my Lana era cut, and so I just felt like it would be funny to wear it again for this day when I talk about how this cut is ending, or at least this phase of it, and then I'll start reverse dieting and stuff, which I don't even think will be anything. But it's just like, I guess I'm reaching a point where I'm proud of myself for doing this, even though it was difficult and I did have to kill my darlings a bit. And I had to like avoid the peeps, and I had to like be disciplined about my mom's birthday and, you know, things like that, where I typically wouldn't be. And so it's like, I'm glad that I was able to accomplish that and that I've been able to accomplish it. And I have absolute faith that I will maintain and reverse diet and it'll be like nothing. So I guess for me, like emotionally at this moment, I just feel a sense of relief. A sense of relief that I'm never going to have to make it the center of my life. I'm never going to have to orient my life around downsizing ever again, because I probably will never do a Lana era again. So it's like, there's just a sense of peace that comes with the knowledge that even at the hardest point right now, I can still keep everything up for the most part. And even having a holiday celebration and everything, it's just like, it really does something to me psychologically, where it's like, oh my gosh, it really is such a relief. And this is something I earned for sure. This is not something that started this way whatsoever. It's something I earned. And I did see somebody on Instagram say, they're like, flexible dieting is something you earn. And I'm like, I kind of agree with that, at least in a vanity sense, because I feel like I did, and I feel like I'm there. And that also gives me peace that if anything were to happen, I would be able to downsize and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Not that I think it will, but it's just, it's less psychological pressure. I think that there's something to be said and appreciated about the process itself getting easier, or the process being easier, or having experienced the bottom of something. I don't have the problems I used to. I don't have the disruption anymore. And I'm just very grateful for that. Even if it's still annoying, even if it was food noisy. I mean, I talked about it the whole time. It was food noisy, it was annoying, it was emotional. It's still physical. Especially at this phase, it's like, ugh, like I'm tired. But even after all that, it's like, I didn't have to center it. And I think that a lot of times people don't want to not center it, or they have a hard time not centering it, especially if you've come from such a big size. And I really highly suggest it. I highly suggest that you get to this point, because I do think it will make maintenance so much easier in the long term, both psychologically and physically, because the flexible dieting, this skill set, it really does help a lot. Even if it's not easy, I have to keep saying that it really is not easy. It's still doable, and it's still, even at the worst, like, I'm probably at like the most annoying time I could possibly have right now, where it's like I'm annoyed in terms of my billing cycle. So my finances are really irritating at this time of the month. I'm annoyed in terms of everything going on in my life, or I'm stressed, I guess you could say. It's a bit stressful. There's a lot on my plate, and I'm really tired. And it's like, if I stand up too fast, I get woozy, and all of that, and my mood is still relatively stable, and like my relationships are stable. There's no freaking out, even when other people have been annoying at times during this time. I don't have to react. I'm very in control of my emotions in that sense. And it's like, that was very hard earned. And I do not appreciate that, because the amount of times, like throughout my weight loss journey, where I was very irritable, or throughout the amount of times where I was crabby, or any of these things, in the strain that put, the fact that that's over, like even when I'm extremely irritable or extremely irritated or overstimmy or whatever, and everything is still stable, that's really, really a huge blessing. The other thing is, I'm grateful that I did that attachment style work last year, because I really see the result of it this year and how great it's paid off. And my spiritual journey continues every day in this vanity era. Like, it's still going. And from where I was in February to where I am now, it is like night and day. And I'm just really grateful for that. Because it was tough then. Like, I had a lot of commitment issues in February, and just buckling down and committing and doing it and following through, it's like, it really helps your self-esteem. It really does. It really helps your self-trust. And I think it helps with interpersonal trust too. And that's more of my spiritual journey. I don't know that would apply to everybody, but I do think discipline and consistency within a vanity journey are relatively common. Like, it's a relatively common theme. And so to fulfill the goal, it's very boosting of that. And I just want to talk about it because I feel good. It's kind of like the physical side doesn't feel that great, but mentally and spiritually, I feel really good about what I've accomplished in the past couple months. And I'm excited to reverse diet. I'm excited to be in maintenance again, especially at peak summer and peak solstice and all this stuff. Like, it'll be so healing thyroid wise. It'll be amazing. And here's to easier living, you know. Here's to it being worth it. Here's to it being easier. I told you I'd tell you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.